So how do you know? How do you know when it's time to transition? That's something that many people always email me. Scott, how do you know when to hear the Lord? How do you know when it's time to shift or do something? How do you know when it's time to move? How do you know when it's time to get a new job? How do you know? There's no set answer. There's no set answer for any of it. It all boils down to your personal relationship with God and how much peace you feel in making the decision. See, here's the thing. Even if God asks you to do something hard, you're still going to have peace in making the decision. If there's no peace in your heart and you're not feeling the peace of the Lord, no matter how hard the decision is, then don't do anything. That's the one thing I can tell you is transition is not a season. Everybody thinks there's a season called transition. No, transition isn't a season. Transition is a point of time that goes from one season to the next. And oftentimes when you go to another season, transition, it might seem suddenly, but it's actually not. God can sometimes build up transition and prepare you for it. And this is why he gives dreams. He gives prophetic dreams. He gave Joseph prophetic dreams about a famine in the land. Well, the famine was a transition. But before the famine came, there was a point of time that there was years of plenty. So that was a transitional period. So the same thing with you or me. God will give us dreams. He'll give us prophetic words. But most importantly, he gives us peace to actually help us navigate what he asks us to do. The only way I can describe of how to know when to move forward with what God's asking you to do, it's kind of the same way if you've ever given someone a prophetic word. If you've ever given them a prophetic word that's kind of might seem risky or really out of the box, you give that word because you feel peace that God gave it to you, even though you're still scared. You still might be feeling some like, oh my gosh, I'm about to give this word, so I'm shaking in my boots. But you have a peace from God that you know that no matter, even if you miss it, you feel like you're obeying him. That's the same way when you're making a decision to shift in life. God might be asking you to move. We've had many people move to our church from across the nation over the years. And the thing is, some people, when they made the decision, they came here quickly, but when life hit them, some of them didn't last. That's all right. That's their testimony. God's going to be processing them. But in order to make a decision to do that, you sometimes got to take a risk. And a risk means this: you've got to step out into the unknown. So again, stepping out into the unknown doesn't mean that you're not going to deal with a little bit of fear. This is where courage is. Courage is actually moving forward in spite of being afraid. And courage is birthed through peace. And so the peace of God that passes all understanding, that's what enables us to move in courage. And that's why he had to tell Joshua, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. So don't fear. Fear not. Fear not. Be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. So to make a transition, how do you recognize it? Well, number one, you're going to feel inside of you, literally where the Lord resides, you're going to feel that something's actually missing. That it's like you have an itch that cannot be scratched. And that's the first thing you'll get when you know that it's a time of transition, or God's about to give that time of transition. The way he's done me, he always gives me dreams. He's been speaking to me, probably the last 6 months, about 2 locations in our ministry. He's been speaking to me about these places, and yet I don't have the answer. I don't know exactly what he's saying. Now, I've talked to other people and I've got their feedback, but here's the thing. You can talk to other people and get their opinions, but don't forget, God spoke to you. He gave you the dream. So you don't have to be asking people for their interpretation. Ask God to give you the interpretation. He chose you to give you a dream. So he'll give you the interpretation as long as you take the time learning how to wait on him. And waiting on the Lord takes a discipline of learning how to be quiet. So, transition, we all go through it. And when we go to the next season, seasons of change are supposed to be normal for the Christian life. The more that you follow Jesus, the more you're going to go from level to level, season to season, transition to transition. But here's the one thing I want you to hear before I get off here. When God transitions you to one place to the next, always make sure that you end the right way. In one season the right way so you can enter the new one the right way as well. All right? How you end one season determines how you enter the next. This is where God is going to teach us a lot more about how we honor people, honor churches, honor pastors, honor friends, and do it the right way. All right? Grace on you. When you transition, you're going to know. You're going to know if you heard the Lord probably about 3 to 6 months after you made it. Yeah, that's usually how it happens. But again, God uses everything you go through to cause you to grow through. All right, God bless you.